Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're making a video on NIO, and this is breaking news, ladies and gents. Absolutely terrific news, if this is indeed truth. NIO in talk to buy Audi factory in Belgium. This would be absolutely fantastic. There are a number of reasons why this would be absolutely fantastic for NIO, but none more important than the simple fact is, geographically it makes sense. NIO wants to invest in the European market in a massive way. They've already begun investing in the European market in Germany, Norway, Sweden, Netherlands. They're already delivering vehicles in those regions. They're already building swapping stations, charging stations. They're building out their European infrastructure, and they actually recently put pause on that in order to focus on the existing European markets. And I believe that was fantastic news. But long term, I've always said, the most important thing for NIO right now is to get a European factory and to get a factory in the Americas continent, whether that's South America or North America. So now we have some details. I've been wishing for this information for a very long time. I've been waiting patiently. And I know that many of you have also been waiting patiently to get some news on whether or not NIO will build a factory in the European Union. But even more brilliantly, what if they just buy an existing factory? That would make things even better, if I'm being completely honest, because building a new factory will take a few years. Buying an existing factory, refurbishing it, and outfitting it specifically to build your vehicles, this would be perfect for NIO. NIO, the electric car maker, is considering acquiring an Audi factory in Belgium as part of its strategy to establish local production in Europe and avoid European Commission tariffs on imported Chinese EVs. If the additional duties are confirmed by the 27 European states next week, NIO will face a tariff of over 20% on each vehicle. The company currently operates 2 manufacturing plants in Hefei, China, with a third that is under construction. Citing reliable sources, local media reported Wednesday that a delegate from the Shanghai-based EV makers already recently visited the factory and is preparing a bid, which must be submitted to the Volkswagen Group by next Monday, September the 23rd. Now, in Europe, the company led by William Li has an assembly plant for its battery swap stations. Once ready, the stations are shipped to NIO's 5 markets across the continent. That's a fun fact. Did you know that NIO already has a manufacturing hub in Europe? It's not to manufacture a vehicle, but it is to manufacture these swapping stations that are so important to the NIO brand and the NIO infrastructure. In fact, NIO vehicles being able to swap battery is one of their most important distinctive characteristics. As far as qualities go, this is their most iconic, the fact that they can swap batteries, and they're building those swap stations in Europe, or at least assembling them in Europe, and when they're ready, they ship them to those markets. Now, this plant is said to be located in the southwest Brussels. The plant has currently 2,910 employees, and union expect 2 major rounds of layoffs over the next month as Volkswagen Group decides to halt production due to low demand for the Q8 e-tron SUV. High costs, logistic challenges as well plays a part. This is very interesting. So let me get this right. There's a major round of employees layoff, for next month as the Volkswagen Group decides to halt production. Why are they halting production? Apparently, there's low demand for the Q8 e-tron SUV, the Audi vehicle. This is quite a surprise because, of course, as you know, SUVs are becoming a bigger and bigger thing on a daily basis. And, the Volkswagen Group wants to invest in this with the electrification of SUVs specifically. Those are quite important. Now, this is quite interesting because Aldi delivers a lot of vehicles on a yearly basis. I think it's like 1.7 or 1.8 million, and that's worldwide. And I think in Europe alone, they deliver well over 800 or 900,000 vehicles on a yearly basis in Europe alone on a yearly basis. Yeah, Aldi is a big brand. I don't know exactly how big this factory is, but if NIO is interested in it, it must be a factory of decent size or possibly areas of expansion. Now, about 1,500 jobs are expected to be cut next month and another 1,100 in May 2025. Earlier this month, the factory management confirmed during a staff meeting that neither Audi nor any other Volkswagen Group brands would be assigning the assembly plant of new models to the facility. Wow. So that is the factory management, So I don't know if it's Volkswagen or Audi who owns the factory. Probably they don't. Probably they were just renting it or, loaning it or, have it on a lease, whatever. But the management of this factory, apparently they have confirmation that neither Audi nor Volkswagen Group, any other Volkswagen Group brands, are interested in continue manufacturing at this assembly plant, or at least manufacturing new models at this assembly plant. So it definitely seems like Volkswagen has been trying to downsize for quite some time because they've been investing heavily in the electrification era. And of course, as you know, it's incredibly competitive with brands like NIO, brands like Tesla, brands like Polestar, just Jaguar, they got electric vehicles now. Volvo has electric vehicles. And if you know anything, Volvo has recently planned to move the EX30 and the EX90 manufacturing, guess to where? To Belgium. And where was it previously being manufactured? In China. Obviously, I also think that they plan to manufacture some of these vehicles in their Charlotte factory in North Carolina as well. But it just goes to show, probably investing in Belgium, investing in a Belgian manufacturing hub is actually a decent idea right now, especially with these tariffs. You want to avoid it. But it's not just about tariffs, is it? It's not just about tariffs. As far as business goes in this area of electrification and manufacturing automobiles, I cannot stress the importance of having a manufacturing hub all across the world. So not just in China, build as many factories as you want in China, but when it comes to delivering them to other countries, that's going to be tricky. Just as recent, Europe has proven to be very tricky. If you're going to ship your vehicles from China to sell them in Europe, it's going to be tricky because of tariffs. America is going to make it even more difficult for you to sell your Chinese-made vehicles in America. So if NIO plans to tackle the problem of Europe first, that's actually very smart because their biggest market after China is Europe, and their most important market right now, except for China, is Europe. They got a lot of investments going on in Europe. So it makes a lot of sense that they would buy a factory in Europe. Now, if this deal goes through, fantastic. I believe that NIO, they would do this strategically. They would have a full plan. If this deal doesn't go through, well, then I believe it could reflect on, the current situation that's going on, But these factories, they need an owner. They need operations. The factories need to make money. So if NIO is not going to buy it, well, is there someone else who's willing to buy it? And based on the market right now, it seems like there's a lot of companies who would be willing to buy factories in Europe to build vehicles. So in terms of finding buyers, that might not be so difficult. But I'm glad NIO is actually looking into buy a factory in Europe. Because let's say it doesn't work out, could they then look at other factories that's available? Perhaps they're already doing this. Who knows how long they've been looking at factories to purchase in Europe? We don't know. But I'm glad to see something like this happening because it confirms my beliefs. Let's not forget, this is my NIO board. Things I want to see happen with the NIO brand. Obviously, we've got a $25 NIO stock target. And for this price target, we're targeting this at like 2026, 2027. We're not in a rush. What's most important right now that I've already said is that NIO needs to build a factory in Europe and the Americas. They need factories in those two regions because it's very important for selling vehicle. NIO needs to achieve 500,000 vehicles annually, and we are on target to achieve that in the next 2-3 years. NIO's announced the second car brand, that's Onvu, and they're announcing the third car brand quite soon, and that will be Firefly. So as far as I'm aware, things are moving forward for NIO. They're moving forward and forward and forward. So it's looking good. It's actually looking good for NIO. Hopefully this deal does go through. Now, next year, NIO will unveil its second sub-brand named Firefly, and that's also going to be a big thing for NIO. Make no mistake, if they get this factory in Europe, who knows what they will build in it? Will they try to build NIO vehicles and Onvu vehicles and Firefly, or will it just be dedicated to Onvu and Firefly? Do they have plans to buy other factories in Europe to use for other purposes? Who knows? But I'm glad that they're showing their commitment to to making electric vehicles. You know, they've been given a roadblock, they've been given an obstacle. Currently, this is an obstacle, and they're finding ways to circumvent or to solve these problems. I like that because it shows commitment. They have no intention on giving up or slowing down. It's full steam ahead, and I like that kind of that approach to business. So NIO expanded to Norway in 2021 and to 4 other European markets in late 2022. And like I said, they have put a pause on this expansion, and probably why they did that is so that they can focus on acquiring a factory in Europe. Why worry about expanding when the top priority should be getting a factory in Europe? Because the sooner they get a factory, the sooner they can refurbish, they can outfit it, and they can look at how they can start building cars. Who knows? 2, 3 years, we might be having NIO cars being built in Europe. And that would be fantastic. If it happens sooner than that, I would be amazed. Like I said, I have no idea what this factory looks like, but this could be it. This is Audi in Belgium. I don't know how many factories Audi has in Belgium, Audi in Brussels. It was said that this factory is indeed close to Brussels. And if I'm not mistaken, these are all the SUVs being manufactured in Brussels. So which one are these? These are the Q8. There you have it. It says it right there, the Audi Q8. So it looks like this is the factory. It looks like this is the factory. Okay. First thing, my first impression, there's not a lot of space for expansion, is there? So if NIO wants to build a Audi in Belgium, so yeah, this is the factory. Like I said, not a lot of space for expansion. However, it will do. It will do. It's better than nothing. It is better than nothing. They manufactured 53,000 vehicles in 2023. It's better than nothing, isn't it? It's better than nothing. I mean, I would like a bigger factory, but it's better than nothing. The market is really competitive right now. Listen, this is where I end this video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to see more. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you in our next video. Peace.